Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bookmakers Review for the end of an era. We are going to be covering a few games taking place in Spain. We have got a game taking place at the weekend, which is Elche versus Villarreal. Then we've got the Spanish Super Cup final to look forward to, followed by some games that are taking place in the early stages of next week. We have Real Betis versus Alavés, Cádiz versus Espanyol, Celta de Vigo versus Osasuna, Valencia versus Sevilla, and Getafe versus Granada. I'm your host, Martin Green, joined as always by my colleague, Matt Lawerence. Matt, looking forward to Elche versus Villarreal? Perhaps not.
A little bit. I mean, Villarreal are in great form right now. Definitely looking forward to the Super Cup, though. I think it'll be a pretty competitive match that Real Madrid will fancy themselves. But there's some good matches here to break down. I've enjoyed La Liga over the last month or so, Martin.
So have I. So have I. I mean, the level of technical ability that is on display in La Liga is significantly higher than what you find in most of the other leagues in Europe. I think they've got better defenders as well, which perhaps might explain why you don't get so many open, exciting games like you do in the Bundesliga and Serie A. But we've got some good games to look forward to. We're going to kick things off with Elche versus Villarreal. And like you said, Villarreal have been very, very impressive, haven't they? 4 wins and a draw in their last 5 games. Having hovered just above the relegation zone as the draw specialists of the league, they're now up to 8th, and they're knocking on the door. They're only 4 points behind Atletico now. Things are looking good for them. Things aren't looking so good for Elche. They've had COVID problems. Do you reckon we can get an away win here, Matt?
I think so. Minus 130 on an away win with a team that is in great form. I mean, they're playing extremely well. I would only be looking towards the away side here. I think that you could, even stretch it a little bit, like Villarreal and under 4.5 at plus 102. If you wanted to, I think that looks pretty good. The last head-to-head did have 5 goals in it, but most of them have not. This is probably, don't complicate it, Villarreal money line. You can find, minus 125 if you shop around.
Yeah, I actually got minus 118 yesterday on Villarreal. I don't know, maybe the odds have gone in a bit since then, but yeah, there's not a ton of games taking place in Spain over the weekend, so I thought I would have a bit of that. I'm on Villarreal minus 118. Hello to Ashley in the chat, going for Villarreal again because Moreno's back. Yeah, he makes all the difference for this team. He's their talisman in attack, and he is just a lethal finisher and a quality player. So they must be delighted to have him back in the fold. Okay, yeah, I'm going for the away win. I think they can get it done. Now we have the Spanish Super Cup final. I didn't put the team names down because when I sent the game through yesterday, we didn't know who was going to be taking part. But we now know that Athletic Club have beaten the mighty Atletico Madrid. And they beat them fair and square. They played them at their own game. They were determined. They were dogged in defence. Jimenez was sent off in the last minute for getting frustrated. They probably deserved it. They were the better team in lots of regards. And their reward is a game against Real Madrid, who prevailed against Barcelona in an epic extra time clash. That did go to extra time, but Real Madrid have had an extra day to rest, which is quite good for them. Do you think they can get it done against Athletic Club, Matt, when you consider just how stubborn Bilbao are in defence?
Yeah, I mean, even the wizard in the control room thinks that Atletico are in the final, but it's Athletic Club, like you mentioned, Martin. So, yeah, this is going to be a good one. I mean, I think that they have that priced out right now. Real Madrid are minus 140 to get the job done, essentially in full time. Without having to go to extras. Like you mentioned, Athletic Club they've got a solid defense. They know how to keep and stay in these kind of matches. I would probably say that this one's going to be an unders match, Martin. I think that it's a final. Generally, finals tend to be a bit tighter, and that's where I would be going here. I think that Real Madrid will prevail. I'm not sure if it'll be within 90 minutes or extra time or penalties, but I think that Athletic Club do present some some good things really to stymie the Real Madrid attack a bit and make this close and tight for a long time. So I think unders is the best look, and you can find that at plus 115 on an under 2.5. You could even stretch it to an under 2.75.
Yeah, that sounds good to me, Matt. I would be inclined to just go with my favourite bet of Real Madrid to win this and under 4.5 goals. You're often going to get a low-scoring game when Athletic Club are involved, but Real Madrid, yeah, despite making a meal out of their game against Barcelona, I still think they've got a lot more quality than Athletic Club, and they should be able to have the patience to unlock this Athletic Bilbao defence over the course of the game. With the likes of Modric, with some of the ball players they have, I think they can get a win. Mal's glad that pathetic Madrid didn't pass to the final. Yeah, pathetic Madrid. No, not a good season for them at all, is it? They're kind of in transition. They're trying to move from being an ultra defensive team to playing a bit more attractive football, soccer, and hasn't quite worked out for them yet. It's a tough one, but I think Real Madrid to win, relatively low scoring game. Real Madrid and under 4.5 goals looks great. Okay. So now we're going to move on to a game that's taking place. These are a little way off, but there's no other games taking place before then. So we've got Real Betis versus Alavés taking place on Tuesday night. Real Betis lost a bit of their momentum, Matt. 1 point from their last 3 games. Do you think they can regain it when they take on a poor and struggling Alavés team?
I think this is the perfect time to regain that. I mean, look at Alavés's. Their last 4 in all competitions on the road, they've lost all of them. They do struggle away from home. 4 consecutive away defeats in halftime and full time. I kind of like that, a little bit of Betis halftime, full time. I think the most pragmatic route is Betis and over 1.5 goals at 1.8. Betis generally, they score multiple goals. Like, they've got a pretty good offense. We need to just double check and cross my T's, dot my I's on the COVID situation, really, and just make sure that everybody's in the lineup. But yeah, Betis and over 1.5 makes some sense, or Betis halftime, full time here.
Yeah, I think Betis. My only concern is fatigue, because Real Betis have a big derby game against Sevilla in Copa del Rey at the weekend. That could leave them a little bit tired, but they've got 3 days to turn things around. They don't really have any major injury problems at the moment. Willian Jose is out, but I just think they should still have too much quality for Alavés. Been so underwhelmed with Alavés recently. And Florian Lejeune is going to be out, the former Newcastle defender. Navarro's also obviously out for a long time. They got a couple of players with COVID. Yeah, I think Betis -1 looks good. Next up, we have Cádiz versus Espanyol. Espanyol good at home, Matt, but poor on the road. What do you make of this one?
This is a pretty tricky one, like you mentioned. Yeah, Espanyol, a great home side. They normally find a way to get the job done at home, but on the road, only 1 win in their last 10. And Cadiz haven't really been scoring at all. They haven't scored a goal in their last 3. Unders, there's a good trend to the unders. Under 2.5 in the last 6 matches for Cadiz. And under 2.5 goals between these two in a head-to-head the last 3 times they've met. So for me, that would be the way that I would want to go. Not a ton of quality. Espanyol probably don't let the dogs out, if you will, offensively here on the road. I think that unders make sense. And, Espanyol, they did win the reverse fixture 2-0 at home. That's what they do. But on the road, it's generally a bit different. So, yeah, I think unders.
Okay, yeah, pass for me on this one. I just think, don't really like either of these teams. I think Espanyol are that team, but they're not. They struggle on the road, and Cadiz are fighting for their lives right now, so it could be a tight one. Celta Vigo versus Osasuna next. Just having a look here. Neither of these teams are still standing in Copa del Rey, so no fatigue issues here. It's a straight fight between who is the better team, and they're both looking pretty poor at the moment, really. But Osasuna bounced back with a win last weekend. Do you like either of these ones, Matt?
No, this is a pass for me. But I'm just looking at it, and Osasuna, they struggle on the road. They haven't scored in their last 5 on the road. So Celta Vigo have been struggling at home a bit. I would be looking towards the home side or nothing here.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Next up, we have Valencia versus Sevilla. Valencia have gone off the boil a little bit in recent weeks. Where have they gone? They've gone down to 10th after losing 2 on the bounce. And Sevilla, they're still hanging in there with Real Madrid. They're only 5 points behind. They've got a game in hand, and they've been in magnificent form. Plenty of time for them to recover from their exploits at the weekend against Betis and go again for a game against Valencia. They've got a pretty big squad anyway. I'm liking Sevilla in this one, Matt. I've gone for a draw no bet, but I could be tempted for a straight Sevilla win. What do you like?
Yeah, and I completely agree. Valencia, they have a match this weekend as well. They're still in the cup. And look, Sevilla have won the last 5 head-to-heads. 1-0, 1-0, 3-0, 1-0, 3-1. Valencia rarely find the back of the net against this side. And I think it was last week where I mentioned that line. It was like an over-under of 1.5 goals. Sevilla were minus 190. I said correct score, either 1-0 or 2-0 to Sevilla. And then I think you were on Sevilla in under 3.5. And both of those came in. That was a nice 1-0 victory for Sevilla. So I think it's Sevilla or nothing here. I mean, they really love playing against Valencia. And Valencia are a fairly strong home team. I think that this is one where I probably would be a bit more pragmatic in it, and I would go draw no bet, though. Draw no bet just seems, I think this still could be a draw. You can find Sevilla in the draw no bet market at minus 140.
Yeah, that's what I went for. I went for Sevilla. Well, I got minus 145 actually, but if you can get it minus 140, then that is great. I just can't see them losing it. But yeah, you're right. Valencia do have a habit of nicking draws. And Sevilla have a habit of dropping points in games when you would expect them to win. So it does seem prudent to put in that insurance policy and go for draw no bet. Final game, Matt. Getafe versus Granada. What a game to end it with. Getafe versus Granada. Wow. Getafe were doing better, lost their last game. Granada unbeaten in a long, long time and climbing the table. How do we see this one panning out?
Yeah, I mean, look at Granada. They're doing well here, and even Getafe are starting to find their form a bit. I'm sorry to say on the last match, Martin, I really don't have a lot. I cannot split these two. I think that the draw has some value here at 2-1. It makes total sense. I mean, look at the total goals. They have this price out at basically like 1.75. So you're going to get a pretty tight match. Could see this kind of being a 0-0 potentially. I mean, both of these teams just trying not to lose this one. And so, yeah, I think even BTTS, no, at minus 150 makes a lot of sense here. But, yeah, it's a pass.
Let's sign off on a higher note then, Matt. Let's do who's going to win the second leg of Arsenal versus Liverpool in the EFL Cup, which is going to take place not too long.
That is a good one, Martin. You go first here. You go first. I'm pulling up the odds.
Oh, it's going to be so difficult. Once again, it all depends on whether Arsenal are going to have some of their key players back from COVID and injuries and various issues. Xhaka's going to still be suspended. But Liverpool are going to be without, Salah and Mane still. They're still going to lack that attacking thrust. Dare I dream of going for an Arsenal win? Can I bring myself to do that? I don't know. Do you know, I'm just going to go for it. Arsenal to win, whatever the odds are. Arsenal to win. I'm doing it.
I'll be on the opposite side. I think so. It's going to be Liverpool. I'm guessing. I don't have the odds in front of me like right now. It looks like some of these bookmakers here haven't priced it out yet, probably because of some of these injury concerns and COVID situations and everything. players missing. So, but I'm going to guess Liverpool are probably going to be around even money here. I don't think that they should be odds on, but I think that they'll be around that even money, maybe plus 120, something in that range. And maybe if there's 11 players on the pitch for Arsenal, it'll give Liverpool a bit more freedom. Xhaka was the player of the match yesterday, Martin. I couldn't believe it. I thought he was the kind of the clown of the match, and it turned out he was the hero.
He's going to be on UFC next, I think, with some of those moves, some of those flying kicks.
He just never learns, does he, Martin?
He never does. He never does. You got Chelsea at 1.83, Liverpool at 3.25 to lift the cup, and Arsenal at 5.0, which is, what's that? That's plus 400, isn't it? Plus 400 on Arsenal to win the cup. That's looking ambitious. Yeah.
I want this one too, Martin, because you know that the League Cup is generally, on the bigger teams, it's the easiest one to win. And I know that Liverpool lost it probably, 4 or 5 seasons ago in the final against City. And look, I mean, Jurgen Klopp, he's not going to be at Liverpool forever, Martin. And, I would say maybe 1, 2, 3 more seasons of Jurgen Klopp. He only has 2 trophies. I mean, they're the 2 big ones, the 2 that he was sent out to achieve in the Champions League and the Premier League, which was the big one. And he did achieve both of those. But I think that, he deserves, and the squad deserves a bit more silverware here. I would love to see kind of a rematch of the match that was just played a few weeks ago in Chelsea and Liverpool and those hated rivals. And I want to see Jurgen lift something else too. I want to see some more silverware this season.
It's not a bad bet, is it? 3.25, which is plus 225 on Liverpool to win the cup. Because if they get past Arsenal, then they're in the final. Then it's just a one-off game. Hopefully the guys will be back from the AFCON. And in a one-off game to win a trophy, he'll send out his best team. And the best starting 11 of Liverpool, for me, gets it done against the best starting 11 of Chelsea in a one-on-one game. So, yeah. Maybe plus 225 on Liverpool to win the cup could be the way. Okay, there you go. I can't wait to see it. Get in touch. We'll talk about it once it's actually happened, Matt. Thank you very much for joining me on these shows. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a pleasure to be with all of you guys, with Junior Brown. Oh, hello, Junior. Great to see you. Thanks for coming in. Derek, Ashley, Vlad, Mal Scala, Vivica Crystal. Thank you very much to all our friends for joining us on so many great shows over the years. It's been a real pleasure, and we hope to see you soon in one form or another. Stay tuned to Bookmakers Review, because I'm told you're going to get lots of exciting content from Bookmakers Review going forwards, and all will be revealed next week. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks for everything, Martin. Appreciate it.
Thank you.